The G.Ramji bill is now a law. Now, this is the bill which is for rural job guarantee, and the president has given the nod to the Viksit Bharat G.Ramji bill. So, this replaces the MGNREGA rural job guarantee law. So, clearly, it is a law now, no more a bill. It has received the presidential assent, and this new law guarantees 125 days of employment as against 100 that were guaranteed in the previous law. So the G.Ramji bill, which has been the center of controversy for the past few days between the center and the opposition parties, is now a law. Remember, there were two main issues that the opposition kept raising. First is the renaming of the law, removal of Mahatma Gandhi's name, and secondly, the onus of funding, which now lies changed in terms of how much is contributed by whom. In the earlier act, it was 10% by the states and the rest was by the center. But now it is 40% by the states and 60% by the central government. Joining us on the phone line is India Today's Piyush Mishra. Piyush, so can we say now that MGNREGA has been replaced by Viksit Bharat G.Ramji?
Well, actually, and this bill has been passed by the President of India, but we are now learning President of India has given assent to Viksit Bharat, the guarantee for Rozgar and Ajivika Mission, VBG with the Ramji Bill 2025. And remember that earlier this bill was passed by both the houses of Parliament, and this act has now announced the statutory employment guarantee, which earlier was 100 days to now 125 days. What we are told is that the panchayats are going to lead the future planning power to be the Gram Sabha and the panchayats, and this bill is also aligned with the Viksit Bharat 2047 mission of PM Narendra Modi. So after the bill got approval from Parliament, now it has also got the assent of President, which means that now VBG Ramji will has become the law, and from now onwards, the guarantee of 125 days of employment will be there in rural areas, and various initiatives were mentioned in this new bill will now be enacted, and this has now become law. So this huge development which we are right now thinking. Remember that there was a detailed discussion in both the houses of Parliament in Lok Sabha and in Rajya Sabha, and after the detailed discussion, the bill was passed from both the houses of Parliament, and it was sent for the assent of President of India, and after it has now got the assent of President of India, it has now become law.
Right. What kind of opposition can we expect now from the state governments that have been raising this issue? You know, Tamil Nadu had raised it, and certain other states which are ruled by opposition parties, they seem to have chosen to find out as to how it impacts them. Can we expect a tough road ahead for the implementation as far as states are concerned?
Well, there will be certainly no doubt that the opposition by the few non-NDA ruled state governments. Why? Because the opposition political parties have been raising this issue, saying that they are not going to play with the kind of changes with the government is coming up with. But as far as the financial aspect is concerned, yes, there are some concerns among the state governments, which not only includes the non-NDA ruled state governments, but also in NDA ruled state governments like Andhra Pradesh. Andhra Pradesh, remember, has the TDP government in power, and the TDP party not only there, in Parliament, but also there in the state. They have been raising this that Andhra Pradesh is a state which is already facing a lot of financial burden. How will it be able to fulfill the kind of norms that were mentioned in this new bill? So yes, there will be some sort of problem, but we spoke to top government sources, and they are telling us that the state governments can easily implement this because they have a lot of money for this bill for giving employment of guarantee to the people, and through this new bill, the new VBG Ramji Act, which gives employment guarantee of 135 days, it is now going to be very much helpful in bringing transparency There will be accountability also of the state governments, and yes, we will see one sort of operation, but there will not be much problem as far as the implementation of this entire new act is concerned.
Right, but we had also seen some, optics from many state governments, like say for example, like the Bengal government that renamed its job guarantee scheme from Karmashree to Mahatmashree. This was also a protest towards the name change of the bill. So, there seems to be an extreme pushback as far as the states are concerned.
Well, absolutely, no doubt, Anjali. We are now seeing how the politics on this entire bill is taking place, not only on the name, but also on the provisions of this entire new act. Remember that state governments of West Bengal, Tamil Nadu, and various others have been protesting on this, and we are now seeing how the renaming of few schemes are also taking place. The main concern of a few opposition political parties was that the name of this bill is being changed. The name of Mahatma Gandhi is being omitted, and a new name is being given with the G.Ramji. And for that, we also saw as to how not only Trinamool Congress, but also leaders from Congress and various other political parties, they were seen protesting there at the right in front of Parliament, holding placards in their hand, and we will see some sort of opposition also taking place, of some sort of protest also taking place across the country after this bill has now become the new law. Remember, Anjali, that Congress party and various other opposition political parties had also promised that they will take this entire matter across the country, where they will be protesting on the name change of this bill, and we can expect this to be implemented also. This to be also there, protests taking place in various parts of the country. The Congress Working Committee is also going to take this on 27th of December, and after that, more and more protests, more and more opposition of this entire new bill will come to the fore.
Right. Thank you, Piyush, for all those details. So important to note here, the bill has received the presidential assent and now it's a law. Now let's try and understand what exactly changes as far as this new law when it comes into effect in the rural job scheme. Well, the old law, the MGNREGA, and the new law, the G.Ramji law. What exactly is changing? We're going to tell you one by one. Firstly, 100 days of employment under MGNREGA. That was guaranteed. But now 125 employment days. So it's not just the name, but the number of employment days have also changed. It's increased. Now let's look at what else has changed. Funding pattern. Earlier, the central government was giving 100% funding for the labor and 75% for the material cost. So the wages were coming completely out of the central government's pocket. But now it changes. It becomes 60% by the center, so the burden on center reduces, and 40% by the state. So the burden which the states are saying becomes much more on them, and they are objecting to that. Whereas 90% by center for Northeast and Jammu Kashmir and Himalayan states. So the center is still keeping the burden less on states. It considers that it needs more support. What else has changed? Well, in MGNREGA, you could demand those jobs that work, that 100 days of work all through the year. There was no pause in the scheme, but that changes now, because now there's not going to be any work which is going to be provided to the rural job seekers as far as the agricultural days are concerned. Those agriculture period of 60 days is going to be determined by the states themselves, that when is that agricultural labor needed, and that is when the scheme is going to be paused. What else has changed? Well, the wages, they were paid after 15 days under MGNREGA. But now, wages are going to be paid after 1 week. So, the wait time is going to be shortened for the people who have sought the scheme. What else? Well, states, they presented their annual work plan. Now, the center has decided that they are going to give state-wise allocation in terms of the funding they have decided that as and when required, they're going to tailor it accordingly and then give. Earlier, a lump sum which was decided was given to the center, to the states, and now this is another major point of contention between the center and states.